This is quite a simple video for senior forms, that's forms 4, 5 and 6, to make sure they're using their preparation time for a group interaction. The preparation time is 10 minutes. Now what I often find, and I'm trying to think of ways to make sure this does not happen, is that I go over to a student who's planning and they've not written anything, they've not planned anything, and I say, how come you're not writing anything? And they'll go, I'm thinking. Okay, and then I'll come back a few minutes later and they've still not written anything, they've not written down anything they're planning. I say, how come you're not writing anything? And they say, it's in my head. And then when it comes to the conversation, they haven't got anything to say. Their sheet is completely blank. So I came up with this. It's just a simple idea, and this is on the landing page as well, so you can download it. And if this is blank after the end of the 10-minute preparation time, 10 minutes is a long time, then you know that you need to do something, and I've made it simple. So this is the input text I'm going to use as an example. You can see near the bottom of the page, one of the things you're doing with the input text in the 10 minutes is you're finding good pieces of vocabulary to use and good ideas to use. So you can take those from the input text. Okay, so as we know, with all of these questions, there are always 4 questions, and the 4th question is always the same. Anything else is just important. So I think when you're preparing, 10 minutes is such a long time. When you're preparing for 10 minutes, if I was a student and I was doing it, I would come up with 3 or 4 ideas. But 2 ideas is better than nothing, so just come up with 2. That's why I put 2 ideas on this form. And if you haven't got 2 ideas, then you haven't used the time properly. And with each idea, you need an example or a reason. Without an idea without an example or a reason is just a point. You could just read it. It doesn't really give you higher marks. So the input text, who is your idol? It's talking about K-pop stars. Why is it a social problem for teenagers to worship your idols? So I've just come up with one idea for this. Some teenagers find it hard to manage strong emotions. I think all adults sometimes find it hard to manage their emotions, but with this idea, the question's specifically talking about teenagers. Some teenagers find it hard to manage their emotions, but that's not all you're going to do. You have to also have an example or a reason. That makes it harder to study if they are sad because of their team lost, or because their favorite K-pop star got married and therefore they won't be able to marry them. Second question, whether idealization is a trend that should be discouraged. We should stop it. So my idea is we should change from idealization to admiring. So for example, with K-pop or sports idols, these people are at the top of their game, or the best singers, or the most successful, because they are so focused and they put a lot of effort in. So if we encourage people not to idealize the K-pop stars so much, but change it to what you can admire, what skills you can get. So never give up is something that I often hear from Hong Kong students, and that's something that a skill you can get. So the third point, the correct attitude of teenagers towards idealization. So my idea was realize that idols are only human. So you shouldn't worship idols completely. Realize they're only people the same as me, same as you. They get sick, they get sad, they're not perfect in relationships. In fact, if anything, to be at the top of a profession, to be the best singer or the best sports star, you have to cut out a lot of other things that people would consider important in their relationship, like coming home to see your wife or spending time with your kids. If you want to be the top, you can't do all of those nice things. So the final thing is good vocabulary. Now, I've highlighted in the text some of the good vocabulary. Other pieces of vocabulary are here at the bottom. So in the 10 minutes, you should be coming up with at least 2 ideas, and with every idea, at least 2 examples or reasons. Why at least 2? Say you only have one idea, and you're in a group of 3 or in a group of 4, and somebody says your idea. What are you going to do? Just say, I agree with you. Well, of course you agree, because there is nothing else for you to say. And if they've said your example or a reason, then I agree with your idea and I agree with your example or reason. Try and have at least two examples or reasons with your 2 ideas, because if somebody takes your idea and they haven't given a strong example or a reason, then at least you could say, I agree with you, and I also think this is another reason for this idea, or this is another example. And then at least that will give you some points, because you're expanding and engaging the conversation. Okay, the better way to do it would be to use the 10 minutes to think of at least 2 ideas and 2 examples or reasons for each of the 3 points. Okay, please, 10 minutes is enough time to plan to get a good grade. Okay, good luck.